It's day two of the US government shutdown. Congress remains deadlocked as the political blame game continues. Lawmakers are not on Capitol Hill today due to the Yom Kippur holiday. Senators are scheduled to hold a vote Friday on the funding deal. Today, US President Donald Trump plans to meet with the White House budget director to discuss what cuts will be made to federal agencies and whether they'll be permanent as well. The White House is threatening to fire thousands of federal workers. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt offered this explanation just a short while ago.
Can you give us an estimate on the amount of federal workers that the Trump administration wants to fire during the government shutdown? Are we talking hundreds? Are we talking thousands?
Look, it's likely going to be in the thousands. It's a very good question, and that's something that the Office of Management and Budget and the entire team at the White House here, again, is unfortunately having to work on today. These discussions and these conversations, these meetings would not be happening if the Democrats had voted to keep the government open.
Were thinking maybe, these mass firings were part of a tactic to put pressure on the Democrats, but this talk about them being permanent suggests something different, perhaps an opportunity here for the White House.
Oh, absolutely. And that's how they see it. Even the president has said that publicly now. He said this morning on social media, Max, that he couldn't believe Democrats are giving him what he called a unprecedented opportunity. And what we're seeing, and some of the conversations I've been having with people in the building behind me, has been that, typically during a shutdown, you do have to furlough employees, which is essentially temporarily laying off employees because there is no way to pay them. They're not continuing to get wages for working. But what they're talking about now is quite different. This idea of essentially telling those workers who are furloughed actually don't come back when the government is reopened. And that is an unprecedented move that the White House and really the broader Trump administration is considering. And a lot of it is coming from Russell Vought. You mentioned that he's meeting with the president today. He is the White House's budget chief. He is the one who is kind of controlling a lot of this. And I can tell you from my reporting, I know that he has a long list of agencies that he is prepared to be to target really during this period for some time now. He's someone who has been one of the leaders in calling for major slashes to the federal workforce, for wanting to reduce the size of government, working very closely with the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, and Elon Musk when he was still a part of this administration as well. And so the cuts that he is going to be recommending to the president could be very wide in scope, as the press secretary laid out, could be thousands of workers. It's still not clear exactly which agencies they are targeting. From what we have heard from people at the White House, they argue that it'll be agencies that they argue are not aligned with President Donald Trump's agenda, but we're still waiting to get specifics on where we could actually see some of these cuts. But there's a question as well of how this will play politically. I know that in my conversations with people in the White House, they argue that they believe this will play politically well for them. And a lot of that is because they believe they can blame the Democrats, not only for the shutdown, but perhaps for forcing their hand. The argument that their hand is being forced, though, is, of course, up to interpretation. And I'm still trying to get more answers from people in the West Wing about that, because we should note that this isn't the first time we've seen mass layoffs in the government. We saw that earlier this year, again, through DOGE with the help of Russell Vought. And so there's, some mixed messaging here on that, but they are very much planning to use this period when the government is shut down to carry out this key part of the president's agenda. The question is just who will be affected by it, and really, again, how big is the scope? Is it really thousands, or what are we looking at here?
Yeah, okay. Elena, thank you for joining us from the White House.